to you again from my kitchen. So today here is actually the day before Thanksgiving, and I am beginning preparation for what will be a meal for two tomorrow, just the two of us. And so what I have in front of me is a pork shoulder, or you'll sometimes find it in the grocery store labeled pork butt. And what it is really, they call it a butt, but it really is the shoulder. And on a pig, if you can imagine, the shoulder is a really working class muscle, and so that means it's going to be a tough piece of meat. So what I did was I actually bought a full bone-in pork butt from the grocery store, and I have butchered this down. I've taken the bone out, the shoulder bone out, removed the axillary gland, all of that stuff, and I divided it into 3 portions. And the reason I did that is, again, portion control. But for Joe and I, this is going to be plenty for probably 4 meals. So as I look at the pork shoulder, and I'll be doing another video on how to break down a pork shoulder at a later date, but just for the sake of argument right now, what I have here, what I have managed to separate is a muscle or 2 that all have the grain going in the same direction. I've already kind of butchered this a little bit, but I wanted to show you. So when you think about the grain of meat, see how some of them are going a little bit this way, most of them are going in the same direction. When I go to slice this, once it's roasted, it's going to give me a much more tender piece of meat. This is not a tender piece of meat. The pork shoulder is generally used for grinding into sausage. I sometimes grind it and make chili out of it. So I have different uses for it, but it's the kind of meat, the kind of cut of meat rather, that really needs to be cooked for a length of time. And that's one of the reasons that I chose this, because I had a couple of requests from our daughter, who has a need right now to have all of the meat cooked to 65 or 95 degrees. But anyway, this guy is going to cook to at least that. So what I did, as you saw me unroll it, let me do that again so you can see it. So this was the way that I had it butchered, and what I've done is I've cut into it, and I've really just kind of kept on slicing until I got this semi-reasonably even slice of meat. Then I went to town on it with this guy, not on camera this time because that was way too loud. I used this flat side rather than this tenderizing side. Not that it wouldn't hurt to tenderize it, but by the time this gets to 195 degrees, I'm not going to have to worry about it. I've removed some of the excess connective tissue that was in here, and as you can see, there's several different muscles going on here, but for the most part, they're all going in the same direction. Okay, so I stepped aside for a minute there because I wanted to wash my hands. So the other thing I wanted to show you, we have rosemary that grows around here. It grows like crazy. I mean, like in these ginormous evergreen bushes that are just super huge compared to what I'm used to. This is one of my mortar and pestles. I have a little collection, sorry, little pharmacy background there. And this is some of the rosemary that I've gone out and clipped off the bush that's out there. And this mortar and pestle, plus a little bit of salt. I have a coarse salt here that I've used, and I put it in here, and I'll show you a picture of that. And what I did after I got it all ground down, because the salt is coarse and the inside bowl of this mortar and pestle is also very coarse, I was able to render out some rosemary salt. So what I did when I got this all done, I put it through a small sieve, and I've got this beautiful rosemary salt. And the reason that I do that is because as much as I love rosemary, I don't like those little woody things. And as hard as I've tried to clean them up and chop them small, I don't like it. So anyway, this is now what I'm calling my rosemary salt. So I'm just going to take this rosemary salt and I'm going to put it all over the inside and then later the outside of this pork. And I think it's going to go really, really well with, I love rosemary and pork, but I think it's going to go really well with this fruit compote that I've got. So one of the other things that I did was I took and I sauteed out, and I'll show you a picture. I sauteed out some golden delicious apples and also some Bartlett pears and a sweet onion. And what I did was first I caramelized the onions, which takes a while, like a really long while. You have to do it very slow, very low. And it took about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. So I don't want to go too thick with this because if I do, I'm not going to be able to roll it. And if you've ever tried to make like a wrap or a burrito or something like that, I always tend to want to overfill it and then I can't roll it or stuff's falling out everywhere. I've also in here got some sweet cherry peppers, and the reason that I use those is because I just find that the hot ones are sometimes too hot. So I like kind of the Italians call it agrodolce, which means sour and sweet. And so I've also added some reduced balsamic vinegar that I had done ahead of time. I use the white balsamic, that way it doesn't give it, you know, a really dark kind of color. And I used the sweet peppers, but I used the vinegar from the hot peppers in here. So that I've got the sweet, I got the sour, and I've got some heat. I got the savory of the onion, but then also the rosemary layer is in here. So I think I'm probably gonna pay the price trying to roll this. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna start from over here because I've got this little gap here, if you can see that. I'm gonna go back this direction. Now I pounded this out probably to about twice the size that it was when it started. So I know I'm gonna lose some of this fruit, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. The fruit lately has gotten so expensive, but we're doing this pork instead of turkey. We're just not that crazy about turkey, and dog's crying. Dog knows I've got raw meat out. So you can see I did overdo it pretty badly with the fruit, but I always do that. Anyway, we're not crazy about turkey, and so this is going to be our Thanksgiving dinner. And the next thing I'm going to do is to tie this up, and I'm not going to let you watch that. So I'll be back as soon as I get it tied. Oh hey, so I'm back, and what you can see I've done. I'm not sure what anyone would call this, but in my house we call it a butcher's tie. You essentially slide the string all the way down, and then you just start going back on itself. I would recommend you Google it or YouTube it or something. If you're not comfortable with this, just tie a whole bunch of them around one time and you'll be good. But I happen to know how to do it, but it's a very messy process, and it's not something you would want to see. So I'm going to salt and pepper the outside of this roast now. I didn't put black pepper on the inside because I got the hot cherry pepper juice going through that fruit, and I didn't want it to be too much of an overkill, but I really do want to make sure that the outside of this roast is seasoned really well. And I know it seems like it probably looks like a lot of pepper, but this baby's going to be in the oven for a while, and this is going to permeate the meat and also help to season up the fruit that's in there. And then the last thing I want to do is finish off with this rosemary salt that I've got. This dog is licking my feet down here, thinking that he might get something if he butters me up. Nope. Anyway, look at the beautiful color on that, and that's really from the leaves being ground into that salt. So you can do that with a lot of different herbs, especially soft ones. You just have to be careful that they're not too wet. Rosemary is a really dry herb. I've done it with fennel, and I've done it with a few other things. So now I just want to make sure I've picked up kind of all of this. Is going to be super messy, but super worth it in the end. So I've got a Dutch oven here, and I've thrown some of my extra rosemary that I cut down the bottom because I want it to, just kind of sit in all those juices, and it's going to help to flavor this whole shoot match. And then in the end, I can just lift the roast out, and the rosemary will be left behind, and I won't have any trouble picking it off. So this is going to go in the oven, not a real hot oven, probably 325, because it's going to go a long time. I'm going to put a lid on it after I get some color, and I'll get you a picture as soon as it comes out. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you found that information helpful, and I hope that you're inspired to go out and try something maybe you've never done before. And, sometimes deviating from tradition is a fun thing to do. So keep your eye out, because that boned out, bone-in pork shoulder will be coming up as soon as I get to it after the holiday. And I hope you can tune in and watch that episode as well, and I'll be seeing you there.